So, without further ado, we'll get started, and I will introduce you to Jiwon Choi. Time comes to a standstill in the space around her poems. They have the effect of focused meditation, place readers in the center of their bodies, and create space for deep consideration of how life presses against us every day and how we persevere. At the same time, they can be so funny. Our speaker is approachable, friendly, even self-deprecating, but somehow capable of a wide vision that transcends its immediate circumstances and includes everyone, whether they're listening or not. Her poems address urgent political issues of the past and present, asking in one poem, titled Jim Crow Appears as the Monkey God, are we really worthy of all this committed destruction? The answer, of course, is no, but the example illustrates Jiwon's unique ability to distill the complexity of human behavior and experience into something that helps us see better and better. She's a poet who struggles to identify and name emotions that remain unnamed and unrevealed from childhood experiences and traumas in order to become the fully actualized human she knows she can be. Choi is the author of One Daughter is Worth 10 Sons and I Used to Be Korean, and her third poetry collection, A Temporary Dwelling, was published this June. Spite and Dival, right? June 2024. She started her community garden's first poetry reading series, Poets Read in the Garden, to support local writers during the early COVID years, and she's also co-editor at Hanging Loose Press. This is Jiwon Choi.
Thank you so much. Maybe you can write my next blurb. That would be fantastic. Thank you so much, Bryant Park reading series. Thank you, Joan Larkin, for recommending me to be on this roster, fantastic roster. I'm going to read a quick poem by Joan Larkin from her Blue Hanuman, just to start us off. I chose this one because I'm trying to cut down on my chicken intake. Chicken, who twisted her neck, scorched her pin feathers, slung her in slow circles around the head, to be rid of sin. And who made sin? Mr. God in his stained apron, tight suit, hat out of time, bird shit in the crease of his shoe. Who kept her till the day? Salted her, bled her, dumped her on a truck, let poor eat poor. Can't look me in the eye and not think filthy hole, for I'm a dirty bird no wire cage can save. Now, it's probably foolhardy for me to start with a poem by Joan Larkin, but I'm going to do my best. I'm going to read some poems from my latest book, A Temporary Dwelling. It came out in June. I also have to say I do organize readings in a garden on Flatbush Avenue, so this is very idyllic in comparison. Flatbush Avenue, Brooklyn, I mean. A temporary dwelling. Does the spider who hitches a ride on our rental car in front of the rental toilet adjacent the hiking trail know she is on a car and not a dinosaur? She has discovered new territory and must recalibrate how to proceed. Not so the warbler crashed into the glass door of our rented house in the woods, ending her calculation here with wings the color of ferns that flicker and beckon, bluffside, forever suspended in last flight. In our world of perfect time, she found a way to stop it. Also, there's going to be a lot of birds migrating through our city, and I know we're going to find some dead birds along the way. If you do happen to see a bird on the sidewalk, pick it up gently and take it to the Wild Bird Fund. Here's the Mississippi. You grew up not knowing about oceans, satisfied with what came out of the faucet. Water beyond does not occur to you. Water a billion years old, dripping down the caves of Johannesburg, maybe from Mars. The search for life in the rocks will stop when they find the fossil remains of us, saying we are predominantly salt and not much more than single-cell organisms. And here's the Mississippi, going back to the beginning, so get your house out of the way. Contemplate mountains, Greene County, New York. Spiders have taken all night to spin webs in the middle of this rough road. We are not their first choice, but get snared just the same. When I stumble over rocks, it is how I contemplate mountains, churning and shrugging off boulders as blithely as a tree would shake off leaves. The land changing its mind, shifting, keeps shifting, in witness of creatures made to resemble lichen and moss, inertia as action. As the eastern bluebirds escape their fossil identities to summon winds from the east, the north, and the sea, worthy muses breathing into us the light of the world. I love spiders. I recently learned that if you find a spider in the house, you shouldn't bring it outside because it was born in your house and probably won't do very well outside. The world in a jar. Remember those kids in Sunset Park? Missionaries, Mormon white shirts, trying to convert the masses. In this case, old Chinese women pulling their carts laden with persimmon, the globes of purple grapes. Their perfect Cantonese beguiling, especially when they get to the part about being reborn on your own planet. Sure, dedicate the whole day, the whole year, eating as many grapes as you can. No one will yell at you when you spit out all the seeds all over the galaxies. Why, what a vision. Millions of vines hanging and grapes ready for the plucking, just as God intended. Woe begone in the gourmet deli across the street from Lincoln Center. Missing some upfront teeth, in a stained, possibly London fog, Burberry, still don't know the difference, raincoat, her hair never looks washed, orders the same $2 worth of curry chicken salad and 2 slices of prosciutto, denouement with a slab of key lime pie. All the days we're behind the counter snickering and disgusted, but afraid. We do and don't know. We will end up the same. We are the front of the house, but should be in the back. The whispers are that she's an heiress gone mad. Looney Tunes on Columbus Avenue. There was a woman that would come into that deli. I worked there when I was in college. I don't know if she really was an heiress, but I hope she was. The moth in your kitchen. Could be your mother, come back to see you. Your mother who died last year in the hospital, where you asked the doctor to send you a picture of her, and he did send a picture you cannot show anyone for the horror of it. Like in the Werner Herzog movie, when he warns the lady not to listen to the recording of the grizzly man and his girlfriend being eaten alive by a bear. But what if the mosquito you just smacked against your leg at the cemetery in between looking and listening for birds by the dell was really your mother? Some god's bad joke about karma. But really, she must have been the blue heron, suddenly seen up to her knees and bill in the water, stabbing at fish. So in your head, the conversation goes, pardon me, by chance, are you the reincarnation of my mother, a tall woman who married a short dentist? But you don't feel anything. You who believe in signs, who looks for signs, who dreams in signs. She is the sign, isn't she? Beautiful forever. Hooked up to a machine to make you breathe for a month. This is how delicate you became, how transparent your skin, stretched to invisibility. Your dark blue veins traveling above ground. Arteries of water on landmass. You became a map. Kill the bitch and you eliminate the litter. Pinochet, are you saying it will take decades for us to get out of the pumpkin patch, if ever? You got to go home, ailing from years of counting all those fingernails pulled off dissidents, students and teachers, farmers really, children of the revolution who didn't agree with your economics of one-man rule and 300% inflation. It's hard to agree, isn't it? It's a wonder bread gets buttered, even on the one side. You didn't want to argue about why ketchup on hot dogs was a moral trespass. So rather, you put everyone in a stadium. Disappearing the contradictions was your specialty. And here come the men in suits to put quarters in the everlasting cycle of dirty cash called international banking, while all you can do is be a carcass plugged full of dirt and worms, while all I can do is keep looking for skillet chicken recipes online. I wrote this poem before I was gonna eat less chicken. It's really hard to eat less chicken, but I'm doing a good job. It just means I eat more potato chips. Beautiful Mutant. In Rochester of 1992, after a dinner of spaghetti and red sauce, we went to a bar where I became a pygmy under glass, where I was made to Oda Benga myself into a beautiful mutant. No rope was thrown to capture me. I was simply surrounded by men who frequent bars in gangs, in groups, in mobs, to make a point about ownership. Oh, to be a beautiful mutant in America, among the wilted people stuck in their time, like the girl in Little Rock, whose face is frozen in forever, but still twitching hate. Her digitized face will outlast the pharaohs. Not even time erases rage lines or reconciles the angry gash as mouth. How much she must have loved walking down this pansy path of entitlement in an incidental town where she learned to gloat about birthright. In a town that didn't understand separate water fountains is a dick move. Oh, tattered town, dick town of America, you serve the weakest red sauce. You'd think it was pink, this side of the Mason-Dixon. Not everyone knows how to make tomato sauce, apparently. There are reasons for never leaving New York City. But I shouldn't be a snob. Everyone has their own recipe on how to do stuff. I will read a poem from my second book, I Used to Be Korean, published by Hanging Loose Press. This is a poem I write a lot about the past, but I specifically think a lot about my high school years. I spent a lot of time on Rockaway Beach, Neponset to be precise. Rockaway Diary, 1986. Your father in heaven, Bela Lugosi incarnate, all forehead, leering around corners, lingering under the stairway. His penchant for culverts puts him in the order of miscreant. Mother coffee teeth. Clutching her once white mug, right on cue, 6 a.m., she begins her search for the milk. Will she remember to look behind the pickles and Sunny D? Olivia's boyfriend. Goatee, almost 30. He's known her since she was 8. Takes notice now that she's a head taller than him. No one is appalled. Your pa's dead, and Ma's on the couch again. Sandbar. I like to tell how we were nearly lost at sea, forgetting that Poseidon must not be trusted. He will catch you up in his folds of bleak water, and the shape-shifting sand meant to fool us into thinking it's sand, but no, it's not. On the lifeguard chair. Your wild heart crashing into me like the sea. I am drowning in your Irish promise. Wild thistle. You grow where not can, cracking through rock to reach the sun. When did you become that craggy old man pushing to the counter to order your coffee and 2 eggs on a roll? Thank you so much.